I was wrong about that, so I apologize to the Cardenas family. She had the two 3-pointers in the fourth quarter that really kept Farmingdale around. 24 of 72 for 33.3% for Farmingdale. There were only 5 of 27 from downtown for a paltry 18.5%, and an equally paltry 47.1% from the charity stripe. Not so charitable tonight for the Rams. There were only 8 of 17. St. Joseph's was led 3 girls in double-doubles realm today. So they were led by Emma Kiley's 23 points and 12 rebounds. She was 9 of 14 from the floor and 4 of 8 from the free throw line. Kelly O'Donnell had 19 points and 15 rebounds. She was 6 of 18 and 6 of 11 from the free throw line. So that was the surprising stat. She's second in the conference in free throw percentage at 86%. I'm sorry, at 80%. She was not very good today, so she's going to drop in those standings, but I'm sure she doesn't care as St. Joe's came up with a big win. So she was 19 and 15 today. Lauren Casada also had a double-double. She had 13 points and 13 rebounds. 9 of her 13 points came from the free throw line, so 9 of 10 for Casada, taking advantage of those opportunities. Jamie Pervino was 2 of 7. She had 8 points. Desiree Sakara had 2 points to go along with 5 assists, the conference leading 5 assists, as well as 6 rebounds. Samantha Wilbur was 1 of 6 from the floor. All of her shots were from three-point land. She ended the game with 5 points for St. Joe's. St. Joe's was 20 of 56, 35.7%. Only 4 of 22 from downtown, so both teams shot very poorly from behind the three-point arc. 4 of 22 is good for only 18.2%, and they shot 66.7% from the free throw line. Got 39 trips to the free throw line. 26 of 39 was St. Joseph's, and a lot of that was at the end when Farmingdale had to stop the clock and foul on purpose. The rebounding edge was a monstrous 63-34 in favor of St. Joseph's. So a great job by St. Joseph's on the glass, and many of those rebounds were offensive rebounds. To be exact, 19 of the 63 were offensive rebounds, so a good job by St. Joe's there. So we're going to step away right now as we get ready for the second half of our doubleheader here at the Hill Center. And I will also mention that our next broadcast will be next Saturday. So we have a lot of back-to-back Saturday doubleheaders here at the Hill Center, which is nice. And those are really the only home games coming up for St. Joseph's, really on the men's and the women's side, to be honest. So they'll be here next week for a 1 o'clock tip, and the men will tip off at 3, much like today. And I don't have the schedule dead in front of me right now. I'm going to tell you right now who we plan on seeing next Saturday. So St. Joe's will be on the road at Yeshiva on Tuesday the 11th. That's an 8 o'clock tip. Then they return home here to the Hill Center against St. Joe's of Long Island. That is a 1 o'clock tip against the sister school, St. Joe's of Long Island, the big rivalry game, St. Joe's against St. Joe's. Big doubleheader next week, Saturday, February 15th. So make sure you log in for that on sjcbears.com and tell all your friends that the big rivalry game is coming up next Saturday here at the Hill Center. So I'm Michael Kerr. I will sign off just for the time being, and in about 25 minutes, you can log back in and catch the men's game. And in about 20 minutes, I'll get on and bring you some of the intro and some of the beginning of the particulars as we get ready for the men's side of the doubleheader. Scheduled for a 3 o'clock tip, but I will say that they are definitely running behind after that long women's game. In 24 and a half minutes, we should be ready for a tip-off here on sjcbears.com. And welcome back to the Hill Center here in Brooklyn on the campus of St. Joseph's College for the second half of our doubleheader here in the Skyline Conference. The Rams of Farmingdale State College visiting St. Joseph's. So we just finished up a very exciting women's game on the first end of the doubleheader. It tipped off at 1 o'clock. St. Joseph's came away with a 70-61 victory, and down the stretch it was a one-possession game late, but St. Joe's able to hang on. And 3 girls with double-doubles in that game, led by Emma Kiley, who had 23 points in that game. But now we're on to the men, and the Farmingdale State Rams men's team enters this game with an even 10-10 record. They're 6-5 in the conference. St. Joe's is 8-12 and 4-7 in the conference. And that is significant for the following reason. I'll run through the standings as there's only 5 games left for, at least for St. Joseph's. And they're the 2 North and South divisions here this year in the Skyline. So the way the playoffs work, the top 2 teams in each division are guaranteed playoff spots. After that, the next 2 teams, regardless of division, with the best conference winning percentage, will advance to the playoffs as well for a 16 field. So right now in the North Division, Purchase College is 9-2. They're in first. Manhattanville is 7-4. They're in second. So right now they hold on to 2 automatic playoff berths. In the South, Yeshiva is 11-0, 19-1 overall. They're actually 24th in the country. So the Yeshiva Maccabees, a terrific team. We had them here a few weeks ago at the Hill Center. They are the only team so far in either division that has clinched the playoff spot. They're 11-0. Old Westbury is 8-3. They're second in the South. So those 4, Purchase, Manhattanville, Yeshiva, and Old Westbury, are right now holding on to the top 2 spots in each division. In the South, this Farmingdale State College team is third with a 6-5 record. Nobody else in the men's side of the Skyline is over 500 or even at 500. So this is where it gets tricky. Right now, Farmingdale State holds on to the first wild card spot, I guess you would call it, in the playoffs. That leaves 1 more spot remaining. Maritime is 5-6. Then there's a 5-way tie at 4-7 between St. Joseph's College of Brooklyn, College of Mount St. Vincent, Sarah Lawrence College, the Merchant Marine Academy, and Mount St. Mary. So one of those teams, along with now Farmingdale, unless they slip, will get the last 2 remaining spots in the playoffs. So this is a gigantic game, really, for both teams, but specifically for St. Joseph's. Do not want to fall to 4-8 when you're going to end up having to chase 4 or 5 teams in the for the playoff spot. So if they can go to 5-7 today, they'll be in decent shape with 4 games remaining. The only team that's on the outside looking in is St. Joe's of Long Island, who will actually be here next weekend on the Saturday doubleheader, the rivalry doubleheader between St. Joe's of Long Island. The women will tip off at 1, the men at 3. The St. Joseph's of Long Island men are 0-11. They've yet to win their first conference game. So watch out for that one. That's a dangerous team right there, as very rarely do teams go winless. So hopefully their first win will not be here at the Hill Center. Anyway, St. Joseph's is coming off a victory against the Merchant Marine Academy on February 5th. That was their last game. They won 71-68, and that put them up to 4-7. That was a very important win. In that game, Frank Reale led the scoring with 26 points. He was 6 of 12 from three-point land. Chris Mikos had 14 points, and Coven Minor had a double-double with 11 points and 11 rebounds. St. Joseph shot 46% from the floor that game. Farmingdale State is also coming off a win, an overtime win, 82-76 up at Manhattanville, also on February 5th. Hunter Schenkel, their leading scorer, had 26 points in that game. He had 5 of 9 from three-point range. And they had 4 players in double figures. Jermaine Frazier had 11, Corey Powell had 12, and Ryan Kennedy had 10. And Farmingdale also hot shooting that whole game. They shot 46.4% from the field and 45% from three-point land. These two teams last met on January 8th out at Farmingdale, and St. Joe's lost that one 65-62 in a tough game, three-point game. Stefan Ethert had 17 points and 12 rebounds in that game. Coven Minor had 14 and 8. Anthony Miller Jr. had 15 to lead Farmingdale. Hunter Schenkel and Chaz Platt each had 11 points for the Rams. So Farmingdale got the Bears the first time. This time the St. Joseph's looking to turn it around on the Rams. So we'll head for the starting lineups here. We'll start off with the Farmingdale State Rams. They'll start number 3, Corey Powell. He's a 6'4" freshman guard from Valley Stream South High School in Valley Stream, New York. Ryan Kennedy is number 5. He's a 5'11" senior guard from Maspeth, New York. He went to Xavier High School and is a transfer from Pace University. Also in the starting lineup is number 12, Deshaun Todman. He's a 6'6" freshman forward from Harlem, New York, who somehow attended Deer Park High School. Number 13 is Hunter Schenkel. Number 13, he's 6'4" senior forward from Sayville High School, and he played 3 years of college at the College of New Rochelle before transferring to Farmingdale. He is second in the conference in three-point percentage at 42% from three-point land, and he is the leading scorer for Farmingdale at 16.5 points per game. The fifth starter is number 15, Jermaine Frazier, a 6'5" senior forward from Valley Stream Central High School in Valley Stream. So a lot of experience for Coach Toomey. Brendan Toomey is in his 7th season. Entering the season, his record is 98-63. He is assisted by Steve Racefeld, Gorkum Osman, George Riefenstahl, and Ali Mableton. For St. Joe's, they are coached by Joe Cocazello in his 18th season. 237 wins, 238 losses entering the season. He's assisted by Justin Gist and Dr. Lukasz Saigan. And they'll come out with their starting lineup of number 0, Sebastian Ethert, a 6'5" senior from St. Francis Prep High School in Queens. Number 1, Kevin Minor, a 6'6" senior forward from Staten Island and Susan Wagner High School. Number 12 is Chris Edwards, making his 5th start of the season, and it will be 4 of his last 5 games. 6'2" freshman from Staten Island and Monsignor Farrell High School. Number 14 is Chris Mikos, a 6'5" sophomore forward from Freehold, New Jersey, and a transfer from Mount St. Mary College here in the Skyline Conference. And finally, number 25 is Frank Reale, a 6'1" junior guard from Staten Island and Susan Wagner High School as well. So a little change in the starting lineup over the last few games for Coach Cocazello. He has Stefan Ethert, the leading scorer, coming off the bench, replaced by Chris Mikos, who's given the Bears some really good minutes. And Chris Edwards has replaced Dimitri Sarakis in the starting lineup over the last 2 games. And they've won the last 2, so it's certainly working so far. Your officials today are Anthony Carnaccio, Raymond Downs, and Scott Ruzak. The opening tip is back-tapped, and St. Joe's will take the first possession. Sebastian Ethert will walk it up, leading the team in assists at 4.3 points per game against Farmingdale's man-to-man defense to start. A near turnover, now a full turnover. It's Jermaine Frazier. He's going all the way to the rim. He's going uptown, and he misses as the ball gets knocked away. He was going up for the slam dunk in transition after the steal, but the ball was knocked away. No foul on that. It'll stay Farmingdale's possession with 27 seconds on the shot clock under the DeKalb Avenue basket. Schenkel's long shot is good and well contested by Mikos. So Hunter Schenkel with a terrific shot. Again, 42% from three-point land. That was a long 2, but it counts just the same. And a beautiful lob pass to Mikos who snuck behind defense. Assist to Sebastian Ethert, finding the sneaking around Mikos. Now Mikos tries to get a steal in the backcourt with the full court pressure. Now Reale will pick it up, knock it over to Sebastian Ethert. Long pass to Mikos. He'll power it up with the left hand, no good. And it's rebounded by Farmingdale and Deshaun Todman. They'll control the ball. So that opening field goal make from Mikos led to the full court press from St. Joe's, and it created a turnover. Unfortunately, they were not able to convert on the offensive end. Ryan Kennedy has it, double teamed up top off the screen, and they throw it away. So Coven Minor jumps up and double teams Kennedy with Reale and forces a second turnover here. So Farmingdale not able to even get into any kind of offense. So I mentioned earlier, Dimitri Sarakis and Stefan Ethard are coming off the bench now the last couple of games. Sarakis off the bench had 17 points against Sarah Lawrence 2 games ago, but he's really struggled most of the second half of this season for some reason, the senior captain. Frank Reale misses the 3-point or the long 2 attempt. Here's Schenkel. Beautiful reverse layup, so Hunter Schenkel with a great move to transfer from the College of New Rochelle. Making a great move. He's got 4 points. It's 4-2 Farmingdale to start. Sebastian Ethert. Long kick to Reale. Looking for Minor. It's not Minor. Was wide open. He wanted it. They didn't see him. Now it's Miko circling it back out. 14 on the shot clock. Long 3 from Sebastian Ethert is no good. Offensive rebound by Reale. Draws contact. No foul. Misses the layup. Ball's knocked around and finally hauled in by Deshaun Todman. His second rebound today. Deshaun Todman, a big boy, 6'6", only a freshman. They list him as living in Harlem, New York, and somehow he's at Deer Park High School. It's a nice hour-and-a-half trip without traffic. And here's another turnover for Farmingdale. They've had a lot of trouble offensively right now. The only offensive success they've had is when Hunter Schenkel gets the ball. So that's the first foul that's going to go against Chris Edwards, who, again, has replaced Sarakis in the starting lineup. Making his 5th start of the season, and again, 4th in the last 5 games. Nice little pull-up jump shot off a pretty dribble move from Edwards. Not able to put it down, though, so a nice move by Edwards, gaining confidence as he goes. The freshman from Staten Island, getting up to speed, I should say, with the college game. And a poor job defensively by St. Joe's, leaving the shooter wide open. And they had a man there. The miss by Schenkel. And the near steal by Minor. So Minor tried to throw it off the back of Kennedy. Ended up bouncing right to, I think that was Corey Powell who made the basket. So bad luck by St. Joe's. And a nice look by Minor into Mikos, not able to hit. Edwards has the rebound, lifts it up a little short, and Minor throws his body at the rebound. Now it's Mikos, rips it away. 3 green shirts around him, forces up an impossible shot. Wanted the foul. So St. Joe's with some great opportunities on the offensive end, not able to convert. Now they need to play the D here. Kennedy with some fancy dribbling. Looks inside, it's tipped away. Taken by Reale. He can't save it off Schenkel's body. 10 on the shot clock. Powell has it, gets ripped away. 5 on the shot clock. Schenkel guarded by Reale. Takes the 3, in and out, no good. Rebounded by Sebastian. He looks up ahead to Reale. That's going to be stolen by Schenkel. You saw that coming all the way. I think Sebastian kind of rushed it up and tried to take a little bit off of it. I think he didn't really want to throw it at the last second. Powell, the only youngster in the lineup here, the freshman guard from Valley Stream. And now the senior from Valley Stream, Jermaine Frazier, able to hit. Little zone pressure in the 3-quarter courts. We're going to look at trap over half court. They weren't quite able to get it on as Sebastian got rid of it. Mikos kicks it back out to Reale. Wants the 3 from the corner. Good. So Frank Reale steps up and buries the 3 off the kick out from Chris Mikos. So Mikos, after playing the first 2 games of the season, had some eligibility questions most of the year, but has been cleared in the second semester. And Frazier clears out the defense on that layup with the offhand. So another nice layup from Jermaine Frazier, the senior who's logged a lot of minutes at Farmingdale over the last handful of years. St. Joe sloppy with the ball now on offense, trailing by 5. There's a foul off the ball. It's going to go against Jermaine Frazier, who is battling Coven Minor on defense on the post-up. So Stefan Ethert and Dimitri Sarakis will now enter the game, replacing Chris Mikos and Sebastian Ethert. So Edwards will stay in the game. 3 smallish guards along with Steph and Coven Minor for St. Joe's. Reale will enter the inbound under the basket. So 5 minutes in, 10-5 lead for Farmingdale. Edwards has it now. A lot of dribbling, spin move, layup left hand, good. So a nice move by Edwards at the end. So wasn't sure what to do in the beginning. Got by his man, was able to spin off the help defender and scored with the left hand. So Edwards is on the board, and it's now a 3-point game in favor of Farmingdale. Drive by Powell, stop turned away by Minor. Schenkel, another three is up, and no good. So Schenkel got the shot he wanted, not able to hit that time, and here comes Dimitri Sarakis. Again, the last game was shut out with 0 points, but the game before that had a great game with 17. So up and down, it's kind of been an up and down season for Dimitri. Minor, tough shot, almost a tip in by Steph, just off. So St. Joe's looking to start their offense on the interior like they usually do. They usually look to get Minor and Mikos and Steph going on the interior early in the game. And they hope that as that becomes successful, they hope it sets up the perimeter. 8 on the shot clock. Frazier takes the three over the outstretched hand of Stefan Ethert. It's off the market, but he gets his own long rebound. Some good boxing out by St. Joe's, but no one went after the ball after the fact. Rebound by Todman, can't put it in. Another rebound by Todman, blocked by Minor, picked up by Steph Ethert. And he'll walk it up and get it to Reale. And Sarakis will bring it over the timeline. So a great opportunity for Deshaun Todman to put back 2 layups off offensive rebounds, not able to hit. So really both teams having trouble around the basket. Edwards, this time with the right-hand floater, is no good. Ryan Kennedy will walk it up slowly for Farmingdale. High ball screen. Kennedy got himself open, but looks to reverse it instead to Todman. Tough left-hand shot. And a great rebound attempt by Minor. It's going to go to St. Joe's. So Minor, as usual, doing a great job boxing out and getting good defensive rebounding position. Mikos will come back in the game replacing Minor. St. Joe's will take over possession. I'm sorry, that foul was not on Edwards earlier. It was actually on number 12, Deshaun Todman. I said Edwards had a foul. He does not. Turnover into the hands of Powell. Powell, not the current Rookie of the Week, but he won that award the previous week, January 27th. He was the Skyline Rookie of the Week. And here he comes on a spin move, driving down the lane. He loses the ball, but it's going to be a foul, and it'll stay Farmingdale possession. The foul goes against Frank Reale. That is the first on St. Joe's, first on Reale, obviously. And senior Matt McQuillan will into the game, replacing Reale. So Matt McQuillan, number 21, the senior from St. Peter's High School, also in Staten Island. The long jump shot is short, well defended by McQuillan. That was Anthony Miller Jr., who also just got in the game for Farmingdale, and Powell has the layup off the miss. 3-quarter court press again. Number 1, Chaz Platt, is also in the game. So a much smaller lineup now with Miller and Platt, 5'7" and 6 foot respectively. Nice layup by Matt McQuillan off the feed from Ethert. So Mikos had replaced Minor, and McQuillan had replaced Frank Reale. Nice drive by Miller, and it's off the mark. He got all the way to the rim, though, but only 5'7", couldn't get over the trees. Still a 3-point game, now 12-9 in favor of Farmingdale. Here's a spin move, shot fake, jump shot. Good, Stefan Ethert with his first basket of the game. Stefan Ethert, 14.3 points per game entering this game, and he leads St. Joseph's. Also leads them in rebounding at 9.8, good for 3rd in the conference. Shot is all good, so good defense around the basket by Ethert and Mikos, and also Minor when he was in there, making Farmingdale miss some shots from point-blank range, really. So Dominique Sine is in the game, and he's committed that foul. He just came in the game on the last whistle. And number 33, Trey Riggins, is about to come in the game after this timeout. So a couple of substitutions for Coach Toomey. Coach Toomey doing a very good job at Farmingdale. Last year they finished first in the regular season. They defeated Purchase College 104-68 in the Skyline Conference semifinals. Then defeated Yeshiva in the championship 81-75 to earn the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. So Farmingdale coming off a great season. In the NCAA tournament, they lost, however, in the first round to the University of Rochester by a score of 85-68. And if you followed us last year or you follow Farmingdale, you'll recognize two of the names on the assistant coaching list, George Riefenstahl and Ali Mableton. They were two of the better players on this team last year and in the previous couple of years as well. They're now on the staff of Farmingdale. Leading scorer right now for Farmingdale is Corey Powell with 4 points. Hunter Schenkel also has 4. He had 4 right out of the gate. Jermaine Frazier has 2, and Deshaun Todman has 2. For St. Joe's, Frank Reale has 3 on that 3-point shot. Edwards, Mikos, McQuillan, and Stefan Ethert all have 2 apiece. St. Joe's is 5 of 16 overall, and McQuillan will head to the free throw line as St. Joe's trails 12-11. McQuillan struggling offensively this season, really. Has seen his minutes drop a bit this in his senior year, but he does bring a lot of intangibles, and he's doing a good job today. He's got 3 points already. He's only been in the game for a very short time. Comes in averaging 2.1. He's got 3 already. Second free throw is good. So Dominique Sine got that foul, as I was mentioning. That is the first on Dominique, third on the team. Zach McDonald's in the game for St. Joe's, 3-point specialist. Anthony Miller will take a 3 of his own with the left hand, no good. And Sine puts it back in. Weak side rebounding, was all by himself, able to put the Rams back in front, 14-13. Drive by Steph, step back, elbow jump shot, no good. Rebound Anthony Miller, the smallest guy in the court. So Sarakis, McQuillan, and O'Donnell now are in for St. Joe's in the backcourt. They join Mikos and Stefan Ethert. And here's Anthony Miller over to Ryan Kennedy. Long 3 from Kennedy, good, rattles it home. So Ryan Kennedy ready to step right in with rhythm into that jump shot. About a step and a half behind the 3-point line. And a great no-look pass from McQuillan, looking for Mikos, but he was tipped away by Sine. So a nice job by Sine being on that pass. Coven Miners back in the game, replacing Stefan Ethert for St. Joe's. 4-point lead now for Farmingdale as St. Joe's looking to get back to it. That shot is blocked, partially blocked, I believe, by Sine. So Sarakis wasn't as open as he thought. Here comes Kennedy, defended by McQuillan. Good pressure defense by Matt McQuillan. Tough power up layup by Dominique Sine on that one. So last time he was able to just lay it in easily. This time they powered it up. 3-pointer from McDonald. That may have also been partially blocked. But McQuillan gets the offensive rebound. Looking for somebody. He finds Miner over to O'Donnell. Now Mikos inside. Back to Miner. Spin move. Travel. So good job by number 55, Dominique Sine, just in his positioning to read the spin move from Miner. He cut him off, and Miner tried to go back the other way, but he hadn't planted his first foot yet, so traveling all the way there. About halfway through the first half, a little more than halfway, 9:09 remaining. And a great layup in traffic. Anthony Miller Jr., so 5'7" senior from Yonkers and Saunders Trade and Tech High School. Leading the team in assists at 3.5 a game. Has gotten to the rim twice now. All 5'7" of him. And McDonald's short on the 3, but an offensive rebound by Miner. Great rebound in traffic. Now Sarakis wants a 3. He's a little long, and an offensive rebound goes to O'Donnell. Goes to McDonald, I should say. Here's Mikos, powering it up. Almost puts it down. It would have been a chance at a 3-point play, but he'll head to the free throw line nonetheless, and that foul is going to go against Trey Riggins. That's number 33. That is the first on Riggins and the fourth now on Farmingdale. Mikos will head to the line. 54% so far for the season, and this one's in and out. So Mikos struggling a bit from the free throw line. He's 23 of 43 entering this game, so not a very strong free throw shooter, and he does get to the line quite a bit because he's an inside player and he's always in among traffic. Second free throw looked good, but just creeped out off the front rim. So 0 for 2 for Mikos. Keeps the Bears down 21-13. So they don't want them running away here, already starting to increase the lead. And this time, so Miller makes another drive to the basket off the high ball screen. He turned the corner on Sebastian Etheridge, but Etheridge at 6'5" and has good length, able to block that shot out of bounds. So 18 on the shot clock. Farmingdale's got it under their own basket against the St. Joseph's man-to-man defense. Here's Miller driving, finds Sine. Sine can't hit. Ball goes out of bounds. There's going to be a foul, though. One official said it was out of bounds. Another official is going to call a foul. So official Raymond Downs calls the foul, and that goes against Trey Riggins. That's his second. And that is the fifth now on the team. So the 1-2-2 three-quarter court press is employed again. A little over three-quarter court now. Looking to get that trap right over half court as James Mojica is in the game now, freshman for St. Joseph's. He's got it in the corner now. It does Mojica. Finds Minor, who finds Mikos, and Mikos gets it blocked from behind by Chaz Platt. Platt finds Miller up front. They're looking to go with it. Is Farmingdale. Miller driving baseline, kicks it out. Platt has it. So the two small guards are working together very well here on Farmingdale. Ball gets away. Sebastian's got it. He's got 2-on-0. Sebastian's going to take it all the way to the house and missed the two-handed dunk. He was all by himself and missed the easy dunk attempt. Now, Matt McQuillan was able to be there for the offensive rebound, and he gets fouled and will head to the free throw line. So they may get the 2 points anyway, but an easy opportunity taken away from St. Joe's, as they can't afford easy misses like that. It was as they trail by 8. So 2 free throws for, McQuillan. Foul goes against Dominique Sine. That's his second. So Riggins and Sine each with 2 of the big bodies for Farmingdale. McQuillan makes the first free throw. So Matt McQuillan giving Coach Cocazello some very strong minutes offensively here. And he makes the second. So tinkering with the rotation for sure is Coach Cocazello over the last handful of games. And he's had some success with it, winning the last 2. That three-pointer is good. Anthony Miller Jr. giving Coach Toomey some great minutes off the bench. Couple drives to the basket. Handling the ball, making a 3 there. Now it's a 9-point lead, and a turnover will send the ball back to Farmingdale as Sebastian Etheridge gets whistled for a travel. Farmingdale will take over again, looking to increase their lead to double digits for the first, which would be for the first time today. Frank Reale is back in the game, replacing Matt McQuillan, who played some very good minutes. Nice little pocket pass, and there's a travel. Great pocket pass from Chaz Platt off the double team on the high ball screen. So as the screener, Jermaine Frazier, rolled, he caught the ball and shuffled his feet very obviously in front of the official. Patient press break. Here comes the trap, able to get rid of it with passing, using their height advantage. And another long lob pass from Sebastian Etheridge just inside the half-court line to Chris Mikos, who lays it in behind defense. So against that pressure, sometimes the back row extends up a little too far. Chris Mikos able to find some space behind defense. And Ryan Kennedy finds some space on his way to the basket for that layup. So it's back to a 9-point game in favor of the Rams. And a great look inside. Mikos rejected, but a foul will be called. Looked like a good block from Trey Riggins. He kind of pinned it off glass, but Mikos went up with 2 hands and smartly went up with two hands to draw that foul and was strong with the ball. If he went up with one, it may have only been just a clean block. But Mikos will head to the free throw line. First one is off the back rim, so Mikos 0 for 3 now from the line. And that was the third foul already for Trey Riggins. He's got 3 fouls. And that is the 7th on Farmingdale. That'll put St. Joe's in the bonus. Second free throw for Mikos is good. So Deshaun Todman is back in the game, replacing Trey Riggins, who again has just picked up his 3rd foul. Hunter Schenkel is back in the game as well for Farmingdale. And Stefan Ethert is in for St. Joe's. Todman powers it up, and a very late foul call is going to go against Coven Minor. He did foul him on the way up, but it was a very late call. I thought it's one of those plays where if the shot went in, he may not have called it. Todman will head to the free throw line. Minor's first foul for Coven Minor, I should say. First foul, only the 2nd on St. Joe's this half. Deshaun Todman will head to the free throw line. Only a 47% free throw shooter, so a lot of struggling free throw shooters in this game. 16 of 34 entering this contest, and I could see why his percentage is so low after that one. That was how we used to say in the old days, a brick. Todman got shaken up on that foul, though. He did hit the floor fairly hard. So maybe we'll give him a pass on that first free throw. We'll see how this one looks. Second one is up, and equally ugly. Minor with the miss, with the rebound, I should say, after the miss. Here's Mojica in the corner. Back to Mojica, he's open. Nice pass from Sebastian Ethert on the no-look. Mojica not able to hit, though, and Ryan Kennedy has the rebound for Farmingdale. 5:40 to go in the first half. Fast-moving first half. 26-18 is the lead for Farmingdale. Schenkel, strong drive with the left hand, kicks it out. Now it's Platt. Good defense by St. Joe's, taking away everything right now. And a whistle after a deflection, or before the deflection. That foul's going against James Mojica. That's his first. Off the ball foul. 3 against St. Joe's. So good defensive possession on that. Now Farmingdale's going to get the shot clock reset to 20. But an open 3 on the out-of-bounds play. So a total missed assignment on the out-of-bounds defense from St. Joe's leaves Ryan Kennedy wide open. He makes the 3, and Coach Cocazello calls a timeout. A much-needed timeout. So a bad possession there on the out-of-bounds play anyway. That extends Farmingdale's lead to a game-high 11 points. It's 29-18 right now with 5:19 remaining. Ryan Kennedy now, with that 3-point shot, has 8 points to lead all scorers. He also has 6 rebounds. Matt McQuillan is the leader for St. Joe's. He has 6 points. He is 1 of 1 from the field and 4 of 4 from the free throw line. St. Joe's shooting only 24% so far, 6 of 25, and they're only 1 of 8 from behind the arc. So they've got to shore up their offensive shot selection and get some better looks, start increasing their percentage. Doing a decent job against the pressure, though. They're getting it over, taking some time, and doing a nice job looking over the top of defense. That time it wasn't successful, but they have 2 layups already with the baseline player sneaking behind that back line. And that time, Sebastian looking for his brother Steph. Ball was knocked away. It'll stay St. Joseph's possession, though. And right on the out-of-bounds play, Stefan Ethert gets inside Corey Powell on defense. Has an easy layup off the feed from his brother Sebastian. So it's 29-20 now, back to single-digit deficit for St. Joe's. Mojica guarding Powell. Oh, and a foul called. Looked like he may have knocked the ball away, but obviously made a little contact. That'll be Mojica's second foul. And Mojica will be replaced by Dimitri Sarakis. So a lot of the old heads in here for St. Joe's now. The Ethert brothers, Minor, and Sarakis, 4 seniors. And Frank Reale, the junior. Here's Powell with it, guarded by Sebastian Ethert. Doesn't have anything. Finally gets it reversed to Kennedy. Drives, pull-up jump shot. Good. Ryan Kennedy, some great body control. He looked good on that dribble pull-up shot going to his right. Long bounce pass to Minor, almost taken away. But St. Joe's will keep possession. Long three from Sebastian. Nice three-pointer for Sebastian Ethert. Creeps the Bears a little bit closer. Now it's an 8-point game, so they're inching closer. Trading twos for threes here. They're going to get a couple stops. Keep an eye on Kennedy. He's got the ball now, guarded by Reale. He's the hot hand. Here's Hunter Schenkel. He can get hot as well, and he does on this three-point shot. So Schenkel, after 2 early field goals, hits the three from the right-hand wing, gets them back to an 11-point lead. And Reale looking to answer. He's short on his three-point attempt. Kennedy with another rebound, his 7th. So Kennedy with a near double-double in the first half. 10.7 rebounds already. That's a steal by Minor. Good read by Coven Minor. Saw that all the way. Here comes St. Joe's. Crossover. Loses it. Kennedy with the steal. Reale with the turnover. Hunter Schenkel going up strong and misses the layup. But a late foul by Dimitri Sarakis. Taking away the layup from Schenkel. He's going to have to earn it from the free throw line. That's the first foul on Sarakis. 5th on St. Joe's. So 2 more team fouls will put Farmingdale in the bonus. Schenkel will head to the free throw line. An 84% free throw shooter, so we know he can shoot the three, and now we know he can shoot free throws. And as is often the case, the announcer's Joan has kicked in, and Schenkel is in and out on that free throw attempt. Entering the game, he's 56 of 67, so he is a good shooter. Just missed the first. Second shot is good. So that extends the Farmingdale lead to 12 now. Biggest lead of the game is 12. Now they're kind of forcing it into the middle of that 1-2-2. That is a good soft spot to look for, but he can't. Got to make sure it's open. Mikos has it 1-on-1 against Todman. Kicks it out. Steph drives it to right hand. Good shot fake. He seemingly drew contact. Mikos powers it up, and he does draw contact. So Steph trying to draw the foul on the drive. Probably could have leaned in a little more to draw body-to-body contact. In any case, Mikos will head to the free throw line. Foul is now, that is the second foul actually on Deshaun Todman. And the 8th now on Farmingdale. First free throw from Mikos is off the front rim. So St. Joe's not able to convert on these opportunities because Chris Mikos is struggling from the free throw line. It's often him getting to the line. He's 1 of 5 now today. And now 2 of 6. So he makes the second one, 1 of 2. Matt McQuillan is 4 of 4. No one else has gotten to the free throw line for St. Joe's, just those 2. Chris Edwards is back in the game for Sebastian Ethert. Dominique Sané is back in the game for Farmingdale as well. Three-pointer for Kennedy is short. Rebound falls out of bounds in a deep corner. I'm not sure who hit it. Looks like it's going to stay Farmingdale possession. .232 remaining. The 11-point lead now. So St. Joe's was able to cut it to 9. They cut it to 8, I believe, recently. Not able to get much closer, though. Now it's back to 11. So 20 on the shot clock on the reset. Kennedy inbounding for Farmingdale. Long pass, almost stolen by Reale. Powell's able to run it down deep in the backcourt, however. Powell looking inside, and his ball is kicked. So that'll be a reset to 20 on the shot clock. In the old days, they would reset it to 15 on a kick. But now with the offense keeping possession, they always reset it to 20, I guess. So Kennedy will inbound it again. Finds Schenkel inside. Schenkel powers it up against Edwards, not able to hit. Ball is knocked away. Finally picked up by Frazier, who lays it up and in for Farmingdale. So St. Joe's had it in their grasp, but not able to secure the loose ball rebound. Steph finds Edwards. Edwards loses the ball, but is able to pick it back up. Powers it up with the left hand off glass. Good. Chris Edwards staying with it after having it knocked away initially. Edwards now will be guarding Ryan Kennedy. Kennedy loses the ball, trying to spin around Edwards. Lost it out of bounds. So it'll go back to St. Joe, so a little momentum going the Bears' way once again. They've cut it to 9 after that last basket by Edwards. Now they get a chance with the ball again to cut into this lead a little more. And the first zone defense we've seen all day in either game is employed by Farmingdale on this possession. 2-3 zone. Here's Steph up at the free throw line, defended by Sine. Good defense by Sine. Edwards kicks it to Sarakis. One more pass to Reale. Dribble, jump shot, three-point attempt, no good. Mikos with the offensive rebound. They'll get a new 20. They need a ball reversal, and they turn it over instead. So they got the ball to the left side of the court, and it just stayed there, and they never got it back through the middle to the other side. So against the zone especially, it's very easy to have a lot of defensive bodies in that area when you don't reverse the basketball. It'll go back to Farmingdale as they lead by 11. And a traveling violation before the drive, so Sine drove on Mikos. Mikos tried to take the charge. Might have hit his head on the floor. He's rubbing his head and a little slow getting up. St. Joe's will get the ball back, trailing by 11, so another chance with just 1:04 remaining in the first half. So once Farmingdale got out to an early 10-point lead or so, St. Joe's has really just kind of hung around that area. Haven't let Farmingdale run away with it, but they haven't really been able to get too much closer. Kind of trading baskets back and forth. And now Reale will take that three. And hopefully they don't trade that up with one on this end. So Reale with a big three-point, his first three-point field goal today. And that cuts the lead to 8, 37-29. Here's Powell looking inside, finds cutting Frazier. Edwards thought he had a steal, but Frazier lays it up. And the Rams back to man on this, what could be the last possession, or near the last possession. 30 on the game clock, 22 on the shot clock. Sebastian Efford has it up top for St. Joe's. 10-point deficit for the Bears. Here's Steph, spin move, good shot fake, and a right-handed hook for Steph is good. 8-point game, here come the Rams, 13 on the game clock, shot clock is turned off. Schenkel throws it back to Miller. Miller, left-handed three, off the mark, 6 seconds, ball tipped away, picked up by Reale, 3 seconds, 2. Reale's got to get it up, 1 over the timeline, gets rid of it just in time before the buzzer, but it's way off the mark. So St. Joe's makes a little bit of a run to get back in this after having trailed by double digits. They've cut it down to 8 now. So Farmingdale State will come into the Hill Center and walk into the locker room with a 39-31 lead after St. Joe's closed the gap just a little bit down the stretch in the second part of that second half. So we'll be right back in just a moment with the halftime stats. We'll take you around the Skyline. We have a couple finals already in the earlier games on the men's side. And again, the halftime stats are coming in just a moment. You're watching St. Joseph's College basketball. And welcome back to the Hill Center. Halftime of the men's side of this doubleheader today. Again, the St. Joseph's women defeated Farmingdale State earlier today by a score of 70-61. And the men, St. Joseph's men, I should say, trail at halftime against Farmingdale 39-31 right now. For Farmingdale, they were led in scoring by Ryan Kennedy. He had 10 points and 7 rebounds on 4 of 5 shooting. He was 2 of 3 from behind the arc. Hunter Schenkel had 8 points, their leading scorer. He also had 4 rebounds. He was 3 of 7 and 1 of 4 from downtown. Jermaine Frazier was 3 of 5 from the floor. He had 6 points for Farmingdale. Anthony Miller Jr. had 5 points on 2 of 8 shooting. Corey Powell had 4 points. He was 2 of 4 from the floor. Trey Riggins had 2. Dominique Sine had 2. And Deshaun Todman also had 2 points for Farmingdale. There was 17 of 38 for 44.7%. So they shot almost 45% in that half, and that was a big part of what hurt St. Joe's. There were only 4 of 14 from three-point range, and there were only 1 of 4. They got to the line 4 times. There were 1 of 4 from the free throw line was Farmingdale. For St. Joe's, they had nobody in double figures. They had 4 players with 6 points each. Chris Mikos, Matt McQuillan, Frank Reale, and Stefan Ethert all had 6 points each. Frank Reale had his 2 field goals were both 3-point field goals. Chris Edwards had 4 points. Sebastian Ethert had 3 points. He made a 3-pointer as well. And Sebastian also had 4 assists. Coven Minor has no points, but he does have 4 rebounds in this game. Overall, St. Joe's is 11 for 33 and 3 of 12 from downtown. And they were 60% from the free throw line at an even 6 of 10. Points off turnovers in favor of Farmingdale, 11-5. Decent stat there. And also points in the paint went to Farmingdale's advantage, 22-16. So a lot of points in the paint for Farmingdale, 22 of their 39 points. And they have a lot of big bodies, and they rotate them through quite a bit. Trey Riggins has 3 fouls, really the only player with 3 fouls in the game. A few other people have 2 for both teams, but really no one in any kind of real foul trouble. The February 3rd weekly report for the men's basketball of the Skyline Conference has come out. The player of the week is Gabriel Leifer from Yeshiva, the senior forward, has won his 2nd consecutive player of the week award. Last week, Yeshiva was 3-0, and he averaged 20.3 points and 15.3 rebounds in the week. And Yeshiva, incidentally, is number 24 in the country, so they are nationally ranked with their overall 19-1 record, and they're 11-0 in the conference. The rookie of the week was Kari Taylor from Manhattanville, and in Manhattanville's 3 games, he shot 59% from the floor, averaging 8 points and 7.3 rebounds. And I mentioned earlier very briefly that Farmingdale's Corey Powell was the rookie of the week last week for January 27th. A couple final scores have come in for the other games in the Skyline, I should say, and 1 game in progress. Another one will tip off later tonight. So we have a couple finals. Purchase has defeated Maritime 88-69. Old Westbury has defeated St. Joe's of Long Island 81-56. And Sarah Lawrence College has defeated the Merchant Marine Academy 71-58. So what that means for the standings is this. The Maritime drops to 5-7. So remember I said earlier, they were 5-6, and then 5 other teams were 4-7. So now they're 5-7. Sarah Lawrence improves to 5-7. So St. Joe's of Brooklyn, Mount St. Vincent, and Mount St. Mary's are all 4-7. So a half game separates 6 teams. St. Joe's of Long Island drops to 0-12. Purchase improves to 10-2. They're in first in the north. And Old Westbury improves their second place seeding in the south to 9-3. In progress, Manhattanville 38, Mount St. Mary 32, 14-16 to go in that game. So if Manhattanville were able to hang on to that, Manhattanville would still be in second place in the north, hanging strong onto a playoff position at 8-4. And Mount St. Mary's, if they were to lose, would drop to 4-8. So the big traffic jam here couple teams have moved up, couple teams have moved down, but everybody's still with a great shot at those last two playoff seeds. And again, Farmingdale State at 6-5 is a little bit ahead of all those teams. They right now hold on to that first wild card spot. But if St. Joe's were able to come back and win this game today, they would, Farmingdale that is, would drop to 6-6. And then you could add them into the mix, basically, of the giant logjam looking for two spots in the playoffs. So we're almost ready for action here in the second half. St. Joe's coming off 2 consecutive wins. Last Wednesday at U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. And before that, last Saturday, they won here at the Hill Center against Sarah Lawrence College, 80-68. They'll travel to Yeshiva on Tuesday for an 8 o'clock tip Tuesday night of the men, and then they return to the Hill Center next Saturday. Again, another doubleheader with the women. The women will tip off at 1. The men will tip off at 3 on Saturday against St. Joe's of Long Island. So that's a very important game for the Bears. And everybody's ready to start except for the officials, so no one has found the officials. Sebastian Effort's going to take some time to practice a little bit by himself on the one end. I'm not sure what locker room the officials are in, but apparently the door is locked. They are not here on the floor as we hear the theme music from Jeopardy. It's always the sit-around music. Coaches are both talking to each other by the scorer's table. Players are hanging out, waiting to play, except for Sebastian Ethers on the other end all by himself, taking some layups. So Anthony Carnaccio, Raymond Downs, and Scott Rusak, where are you? So again, I mentioned the doubleheader next Saturday here at the Hill Center. So they play Tuesday at Yeshiva, next Saturday here. Oh, and a big round of applause as the Zebras are back on the court. Now we can play. We almost had to go pickup style, but now the officials are here and we are ready to resume the second half. 39-31, Rams advantage. And again, a gigantic game, really for both teams, for a playoff seeding, I guess. And St. Joe's tried to inbound the ball, but the refs were too wise for that. It'll go to Farmingdale. Farmingdale will take the first possession, leading by 8. Now all the confusion seems to be sorted out. Frazier inside, loses the ball, but Kennedy able to run it down out by half court. Left-hand drive, Kennedy, pull-up jump shot, a little bit strong, rebounded by Sebastian Ethert. Reali, second attempt at the 3-3. He missed it, but Mikos powers it up and can't make the layup. So another nice job by Chris Mikos to grab the offensive, to really muscle down offensive rebounds. He'll head to the free throw line, and this is where he has struggled. So Mikos, 2 of 6 from the line in the first half. His first attempt here in the second half is up and back rim, no good. So still struggling from the line. Same starting 5 for both teams. Both teams started out again in man-to-man defense that we've been seeing. Mikos is short on the second attempt, so no help on the foul. So Farmingdale doesn't mind fouling Mikos so far today. See if he can get back going on the free throw line. Here's Powell with it, not sure what to do. No one moving for him, no one really helping him. Now he uses the Todman screen. Schenkel looks inside to Frazier. Nice kick out to Powell. He drives. A running crazy shot off balance. Should have took a jump stop for a jump shot there. He was way off. Edwards now looking to drive. Spin. Floater. No good. Rebound by Corey Powell. Throws his body at the ball under the basket. So a nice move by Edwards. Not able to hit though. He gets himself through defense. Just got to stay on balance and get his eyes to the target after that spin move. Quick trigger, 3-pointer for Schenkel, no good, in and out, almost. Coven Minor with another rebound. That's his 5th of the day. So no scoring yet in the first half, a minute and a half in. Nice look into Sebastian from Mikos, and Sebastian with a really tough shot, spinning away from the basket with the right hand. So nice touch by Sebastian Ethert off the feed from Mikos. So the first points of the second half go to St. Joseph's, and they cut this deficit to 6. It's 39-33. Schenkel loses it, and Chris Edwards has it. He drives, Euro step, a high floater, a little teardrop shot, no good. So Farmingdale will have it. Powell will bring it over the timeline. Dribble pull up, three-pointer, good. So Ryan Kennedy again, he's deadly off the dribble. He's got a real quiet jump shot technique. No wasted movement. He's a really nice looking shooter, Kennedy, even off the dribble. That's hard to do. Nice look at Mikos. This time he's able to hit inside. So the feed from Sebastian Ethert, returning the favor to Chris Mikos from the last possession. So Mikos, the transfer from Mount St. Mary, 2 years ago played for the Mount. And a near steal for Reale. And now a kickball will be the call. So it'll stay Farmingdale possession. Sebastian got his foot on it. Inbounds almost stolen by Mikos. Now with Powell has it, he'll drive, takes an extra step, and misses the layup, but there's a whistle on the floor. And I think Powell will head to the free throw line. Coven Minor will be whistled for a foul. That is Coven's second foul and the first on St. Joe's. Powell will head to the free throw line. 60% free throw shooter. First shot is good for Powell. Second free throw for Powell. A lot of dribbling and thinking about it. But it works. Nothing but net. So now it's a 9-point lead for the Rams. Edwards has it over the timeline, defended very closely by Ryan Kennedy. Now Sebastian Ethert will run some offense against this man-to-man defense employed by Coach Toomey and the Rams. Here comes Minor, kicks it back out to Sebastian. He's open from the corner, in and out. Rebound by Hunter Schenkel. Some very deliberate offenses on both sides now, really slowing the pace down in this game. And Todman with a nice little spin move, tough shot off balance. Defended pretty well by Mikos, I thought. But Todman able to make a spinning layup attempt. 11-point lead now for the Rams. Little token 1-2-2 pressure from the Rams, really to slow down St. Joseph's. Minor on the miss. Farmingdale will get it again with another attempt. Good hedge by Minor, but they end up having to switch on it. They have the mismatch, don't look to take advantage of it. Jermaine Frazier's on the floor with an apparent injury. He is on the ground holding his head. And a kick ahead to Edwards, and he can't convert the layup. And now the referees stop the play for the injury as Frazier is just getting up, slow to get up. He's holding his face or his head. He took a shot in the head. I didn't see the hit, or if he got tripped up and hit the floor or got hit by an elbow or something. But because St. Joseph's had a fast break opportunity on the kick ahead, the referees have to allow the play to finish. And once Edwards missed the layup and Farmingdale secured the defensive rebound, they then blew the whistle to stop play to make sure Frazier could get off the floor. So he is out of the game right now. He is replaced by Dominique Sene. So it's Kennedy, Powell, Schenkel, Dominique Sene, and Deshaun Todman are in now for Farmingdale. Kennedy has the point guard duties, guarded by Reale. Here's a steal from Stephon Ethert and a deliberate foul, I should say, from Ryan Kennedy, as he didn't want Steph to get the layup. And it is not any kind of clear path foul or anything like that. So that is the first foul on Kennedy. So foul on Kennedy, success in stopping what would have been an uncontested layup for Stefan Ethert. St. Joe's will take possession. Sarakis is in the game, replacing Edwards. Jump shot, Steph. Good. So Stefan Ethert very quietly makes it a pretty open jump shot. St. Joe's is back to within 9. Now is where they need to kind of turn up the defensive intensity here, string together 3 or 4 stops in a row. They really haven't been able to do that. Although they've played okay defense at times, that time they did a poor job on the blocking out to get the defensive rebound. So the offensive rebound and putback goes to Sine. Mikos looking into Steph. Nice little stop and go move by Steph. Not able to hit though. We have a foul, it looks like. It's going to go against. Oh, the foul goes against Mikos. I got a little confused. I didn't know who number 14 was. It goes against Mikos, so Farmingdale does have the ball. St. Joe's is in a full court press now. They're going to look to trap that first pass, as we often see, I'm sure. With Steph on the ball, he'll chase the first pass. And here it is. They're trying to trap it, but Miller able to break pressure up the sideline. Here comes Todman with the two-handed slam, and it's not going to count as the whistle was just before the dunk. It's going to be a foul, an offensive foul against Dominique Sine as he cleared out the defender to allow Todman to get to the rim. So no basket. It's still a 48-37 lead for Farmingdale. St. Joe's will take over possession after this timeout, this full timeout. So I'll step back for a moment as you enjoy again the St. Joseph's Diamonds. 48-37, Farmingdale with an 11-point lead. It's really been, I would say, between 9 and 11 or 12, really almost the entire game. Once Farmingdale got that type of lead, it was really just back and forth the whole way. No team can really extend or come back during that time. The only player in double figures in scoring right now is Ryan Kennedy for Farmingdale. He's got 13 points, and he's near a double-double with 9 rebounds. St. Joe's will bring it up against the three-quarter court 1-2-2 press of Farmingdale. And St. Joe's does a nice job breaking it with passing. Got 20 seconds on the shot clock now. Mikos drives baseline, comes up and is fouled, but almost makes what would have been a really tough layup, a reverse layup. He almost had it though. It just kind of got stuck on the front rim and rolled off. But Mikos will hit to the free throw line once again. He's only 2 of 8 today from the line. So he needs to start taking advantage of these opportunities. And he is way short on the first one. That foul goes against Hunter Schenkel, only his first, and the fourth on Farmingdale. Second free throw is good though for Mikos, so they get 1 point back, and here comes the press. That diamond press, the 1-2-1-1 that we see St. Joe's do quite a bit. They also like to run and jump over half court as well. We haven't seen that yet today, but that is something in the bag for sure. Here's Chaz Platt back in the game, driving through traffic, lifts up a nice little finger roll with the right hand off glass. So Chaz Platt has got another field goal, his second field goal today. Reality, great pump fake, and buries the 3. So a great job with the pump fake to lose the first defender. Took that dribble to clear himself, and you know he likes to shoot it off the dribble. If you watch St. Joseph's games, He loves to put it on the floor and then take his three-point shot. And that time, it paid off. And that cuts the Bears deficit to 9, 50-41. Schenkel for three. Good. So Schenkel answers with a three-point shot of his own. Bears not able to get out to the three-point line defensively. And a whistle's going to keep the ball here to St. Joseph's. Foul goes against Dominique Sene. That should be his fourth, and that is his fourth. He's going to come out of the game, and Hunter Schenkel's also going to come out. Trey Riggins is back in the game, and we're also going to get our first look at number 20, Nick Hurwitz. He's a 6'3" freshman from Mount Sinai High School. So another freshman in the game. Both of these teams very experienced. And there's a great, easy layup. So on 2 out-of-bounds plays for St. Joe's, they just had a one-pass layup right under the basket on the weak side. Once it went to Stefan Ethert, that time to Chris Mikos. So whatever that out-of-bounds play is, Farmingdale is not ready for it. There's Hurwitz having trouble with the double team, but finds Todman underneath with a nice pass through the double team. So he wasn't going anywhere with it, but he found Todman inside for a nice pass. Layup for Todman, and a three-pointer for Sebastian Ethert. So the Bears not giving up. They keep trying to claw back into this one with a couple threes, one from Reale, this one from Sebastian Ethert. It's now 55-46. The problem is they're not able to stop Farmingdale on this end. They got to get some defensive stops. I think they'd be in great shape if they could just get 3 or 4 stops in a row. Miller with the long three is way off. Rebound is loose. Hurwitz gets it. He's not able to hit, and Mikos comes down with the rebound for St. Joe's. Frank Reale shoots the ball from half court. I think he wanted a foul. And he gets a foul. So what happened was the defender shoved Reale out of bounds. That was Chaz Platt on defense. That's his first foul. He shoved him out of bounds, and Reale just threw up a shot to try to get a shooting foul called on it. Now, the refs weren't going to go for that, but they did make the foul call. So we have another timeout on the floor, 55-46 in favor of Farmingdale. Another update, only 6:32 remaining in the game up at Manhattanville. Manhattanville still leads 48-41 over Mount St. Mary's. So Hunter Schenkel now has 11 points. He joins Ryan Kennedy as the double-figure scorers for Farmingdale. Chris Mikos now has 11 for St. Joseph, but he should have a lot more. He's only 3 of 10 from the free throw line. Mikos also has 7 rebounds to go with his 11 points. Other than Mikos, though, Frank Reale has 9. Stefan Ethert has 8. Matt McQuillan has 6. He had all of them in the first half. He hasn't played yet in the second half. And Sebastian Ethert with that last three-point shot has 8 as well. Chris Edwards has also chipped in 4 points for St. Joseph's. So St. Joe's will get to inbound it after the foul on Platt from the sideline. And now McQuillan is back in the game. So McQuillan, I just mentioned, hadn't played in the second half. He is now in the game. Now he has the ball. Bounce pass to Steph. High-low pass to Mikos. Mikos puts it up. He's fouled, and he's not able to hit. So Mikos, we'd love to see those layups go in because you get the 2 points, and then he gets 1 free throw, and he hasn't been very good from the free throw line. So this is kind of a big story in the game right now. St. Joe's trailing by 9, and they've left quite a few points on the board from the free throw line. More than they would like, that's for sure. They're 7 of 14 overall. And Mikos should start considering shooting lefty because it's only getting worse. He's now 3 of 11. Todman is out of the game. He was replaced by Jermaine Frazier, so he was injured earlier. Took a shot in the face earlier. And now Mikos has figured it out. He banks it, the free throw. So good for him. He's figured out how to make the free throws. So St. Joe's is 1 point closer. Mikos will take a rest. He's played very well until he gets to the free throw line. Coven Minor is in for Mikos. So Miko's giving very important minutes to St. Joe's. He's got 11 points and 7 rebounds, but again, really hurting them from the free throw line. They'd be right in this game if it wasn't for St. Joe's shooting only 50% from the line so far. They've missed 8 free throws as a team. Great double team from St. Joe's. That was a travel that he got away with for sure. And Miller with the floater, no good. And the rebound, we're going to stay here. That's a foul on Stefan Ethert. So Frazier grabbed the rebound, and Stefan Ethert sort of shoved him away, trying to get him away from the ball. So that's a good call. Stefan Ethert with his first personal foul. Only the third on St. Joe. So not too many fouls. I don't want to put the Joan on it. Not too many fouls today against really either team, particularly St. Joe's. A little bit of foul trouble for the Rams. Sané has 4 and Trey Riggins has 3. No one has 3 for St. Joe's. The turnover will send the ball back to the Bears. So now they have a chance to get back in this thing. 55-47 now after that free throw from Mikos. And then the stop. So they're finally putting together a few stops. Need to string some more together here to get themselves back in. And they certainly have to convert on the offensive end. Here comes Sarakis. Ball gets knocked away on the pass. Sarakis dives on the loose ball. Finds Minor. 12 on the shot clock. Reale hoists up a long 3. Off the back rim, no good. Rebounded by Riggins. And here come the Rams in a fast break. Kick ahead to Kennedy. Shovel over to Jermaine Frazier. It's blocked by Coven Minor on defense. And it's going to go back to St. Joe's. So the Rams with a great opportunity for an early score. Turned away by Coven Minor with another block. That's his second block of the game. Drive by McQuillan around Platt. Kicks it over to Reale. Reale wants a 3. He loves to dribble it and shoot, and he does, but misses. Farmingdale ahead again. He's got him up the sideline if he wants him. Ball is knocked away, but Farmingdale recovers. Thanks to Trey Riggins. For an 8-point game now, 55-47. And a foul way in the backcourt. It's going to go against Reale. That's his second. 4th on St. Joe's. Farmingdale inbounded in front of their bench on the sideline. Platt hands it off to Miller. Miller, really quick little guard. He's getting to the rim. He gets there again. Shovels it off to Frazier. Frazier into Riggins, who dunks it home with 2 hands. Can't let him get it that close. Here's Sarakis going the other way. McQuillan now has it up top. Steph drives right. Good job defensively by Frazier to turn him away. Minor with a little jump hook is good. So Minor showing a little bit of touch with the right hand. And it's back to an 8-point game. Still 9:38 to go. A long, long way to go here. Frazier backs in Ethert. Right hand, good, and the foul. So a big possession for Farmingdale there as St. Joe's was knocking on the door. Frazier makes the basket and draws the foul. Should be against Ethert, and if it is, that should be his second, I believe. I haven't put it up on the board yet. In any case, Frazier gets the deuce to make it a 10-point game, and he'll head to the free throw line. To try to complete this 3-point play, and he does. So Frazier now makes it an 11-point game once again after the Bears had it to 8. Now they need to get back into it. And again, it's going to happen on the defensive end, I think, for St. Joe's. They turn it over here on offense. Bad angle for that kind of lob pass from Sebastian to Coven Minor. He's got to bring it over with the dribble a little bit more if he can, or make a pass to that side. Miller would take over the point guard duties from Kennedy. So it's Miller and Kennedy along with Chaz Platt in the backcourt, along with Riggins and Frazier up front. Here's Kennedy. He's had a great game so far today. Here's Kennedy again for 3. No good this time. So Miller setting it up with his penetration to draw defense. Here's another penetrating kick, this time to Platt. Platt doesn't want the shot. Miller will get it back and take it from the deep corner. No good. Sebastian kicks it ahead to his brother, and he picks it up off one bounce, and it's finally out of bounds, and it's going to go down to Farmingdale's possession. So a weird play on that. The long pass to Stefan Ethert from his brother Sebastian was able to sort of handle it off one. It's very hard to catch a long pass off one bounce. You always want to try to catch them on a fly. That first bounce takes off on you usually, and it took off on Steph. He tried to save it off Frazier's body, but it'll stay Farmingdale possession as Miller takes a seat. He's replaced by Corey Powell. I don't know if I would take Miller out too much. He's really given St. Joe's fits on the defense, on St. Joe's defensive end, I should say. They really had not been able to contain Miller, hardly at all. Edwards gets a steal and draws the foul, so he'll head to the free throw line. Kennedy picks up the foul. That is the second on Kennedy, and Edwards will try to get St. Joe's a little bit closer from the free throw line here. 8th foul against Farmingdale. So St. Joe's in the bonus. 8:20 to go in the game. St. Joe's with 5 team fouls of their own, so 2 more will put Farmingdale in the bonus. And Edwards also not able to connect from the free throw line. He misses the front end of the one-on-one, and that is something that can really hurt St. Joe's, is their free throw shooting. Powell having trouble with it, finally finds a lane, and ball is knocked away by Minor. And it's whistled out of bounds. There's 8 seconds showing on the shot clock. It should get reset to 20 if it's Farmingdale's ball, and I think it is. No, it's not. It's going to stay at 8. It is Farmingdale's ball, but it's going to stay at 8 because there was no clear possession change. Now it's 6. Schenkel, nice hedge by McQuillan. They got to shoot 2, 1, and they do not get it off in time, so good job on defense, particularly the double team off the high ball screen by Matt McQuillan and Chris Edwards to back up Hunter Schenkel. So St. Joe's will get another chance on offense here as Sebastian Ethert takes a seat. He's replaced by Chris Mikos. So McQuillan will bring it up for St. Joe's, trailing by 11. Still the man-to-man defense by Farmingdale State. They played 1 possession of zone. It's the only possession of zone we've seen in 2 games today. McQuillan looks inside to Mikos. A great no-look pass to Mikos, not able to convert. And there's a loose ball here. Looks like it's going to be a foul against Coven Minor, I think. And it is going to go against Minor. That's going to be his 3rd. And the 6th now on St. Joe's. So the next foul by St. Joe's will put Farmingdale in the bonus. Deshaun Todman is back in the game, replacing Trey Riggins. So Kennedy will walk the ball up for Farmingdale against Chris Edwards. 7:10 on the clock, 11-point game. Schenkel reverses it to Frazier. Frazier drives, almost had a layup, but kicks it out. Good defense by St. Joe's, and Schenkel almost able to make that off-balance left-handed layup. Instead, he's fouled, and he'll head to the free throw line for 2. Foul goes against Matt McQuillan, his 1st. And now Farmingdale's in the bonus, as that is the 7th team foul against St. Joe's. Schenkel from the free throw line is no good. So Schenkel, a very good free throw shooter, misses on that one, an 84% free throw shooter. And he makes a second. Timeout on the floor. Coach Toomey wants a timeout as they lead 61-49, 12-point lead for Farmingdale. 6:56 remaining, and Farmingdale will have the ball. Quick update, under 2 minutes to go, 1:54 remaining up in Manhattanville. Manhattanville leads Mount St. Mary now only by 2, 50-48. So that could go either way, and that is a big game for the playoff implications, as I mentioned earlier, particularly for Mount St. Mary's. If they were to win that game, they'd still really be in the mix. They'd be in the mix anyway, but they would, if you're a St. Joe's fan, you kind of want to stay ahead of them. If they were to win, they'd be a half game ahead of St. Joe's, pending the outcome of this game here at the Hill Center. So we'll see how that turns out. I'll definitely give you the final when I get it, but it's Manhattanville 50, Mount St. Mary 48 right now up in Manhattanville. So a big stat in the game is obviously the free throw shooting of St. Joseph's. It's been terrible. They're 8 of 17. And the main culprit has been Chris Mikos. He's 4 of 12. Chris Edwards is 0 for 1, and that was the front end of a 1-and-1. Matt McQuillan, however, has been perfect. He's 4 of 4. Chris Mikos leads the scoring for St. Joe's with 12 points, as well as having 7 rebounds. Ryan Kennedy has 13 points and 9 rebounds. He's had 9 rebounds for a long time now. He's trying to get into that double-double category. Hasn't been able to do it just yet. St. Joe's will take over possession. Again, 6:56 remaining, trailing by 12. They need to start stringing together some good possessions here, particularly on the defensive end. They need to get themselves 5 or 6 stops in a row, and they'll be right in it. Minor finds Mikos up top. Minor looking to make that spin move down low. Now he has it again. Good defense by Frazier, turning him away. St. Joe's not sure what to do right now. Mikos dribbling around. 9 on the shot clock. Tough shot from Sebastian. And a foul. Looks like we may go the other way, as Mikos really was doing a nice job hustling after that offensive rebound, but he plowed right through one of the players on Farmingdale. So that'll be the second foul on Mikos. 8th now on St. Joe's. So it's not a shooting foul, it's a player control foul on the other end. Oh, it is a shooting foul. I'm sorry, it was not a player control foul. It was a charging foul on the offensive player. So it is Frazier. I wasn't sure who it was that he knocked down, but it was Frazier. He'll head to the free throw line for what should be a 1-and-1. It's only the 8th team foul. Coven Minor has a seat on the bench, replaced by Sebastian Ethert. Front end of the 1-on-1 is no good for Frazier, so no points on the board for Farmingdale there. St. Joe's will look to get this back to single digits possibly. Mikos will lift up a little floater in the lane off the pass from Sebastian Ethert. So Sebastian Ethert and Chris Mikos have worked very well together today, finding each other for field goals from time to time. That time it was Sebastian to Mikos. The 3 from Schenkel is in and out. Steph Ethert with the rebound. Great outlet pass to Reale. Bounce pass to Mikos. Shot fake, and he is fouled on the pass. So if he had shot it, he'd get 2 shots. Instead, he'll just get 1-on-1. So a nice job by Stefan Ethert, I should say, on that outlet pass to Reale up the sideline. The foul is the 4th on Deshaun Todman. 9th now against Farmingdale, so it's just a 1-and-1. The next foul will put them in the double bonus. So Mikos will have a 1-and-1, and these are big. He's got to start getting it together on the free throw line, as do all the Bears. First free throw was in and out. Rebound is pulled down by Trey Riggin, so back-to-back front ends of 1-on-1 missed, first by Edwards, this time by Mikos. So St. Joe's leaving too many points on the board in a very, very important game with major playoff implications at stake really for both teams. More so for St. Joe's. And a good defense that time by Reale and McQuillan, doing a good job double teaming. They forced a turnover earlier with a double team. Now they've done it again. So a 10-point game, still very much alive here in St. Joseph's, 5:29 to go. Sebastian has it. Nice back cut by Reale, and a great pass from Sebastian Ethert. The first backdoor cut we've seen today from St. Joe's. We usually see 2 or 3 of them every game. So it's back to an 8-point deficit for St. Joe's. They have a good shot here if they can get some stops. Miller drives, gets all the way to the rim, and scores it over the outstretched hand of Mikos. So Miller answering back with a deuce. It's a 10-point game once again. So the Bears really just not able to get the stops they need really all game. That's a foul, and it's going to be a push before the shot. He didn't make it anyway. So it's going to be a 2-shot foul no matter what. Stephon Ethert will head to the free throw line for 2. That foul is going to be the 3rd against Jermaine Frazier. Steph's first trip to the free throw line today. He makes the first. So now St. Joe's is in the double bonus, so all fouls will be 2-shot fouls for them. Chris Edwards is back in the game for McQuillan. Steph is not able to make the second free throw, so 1 out of 2 once again. Here's Miller. Miller's played a really good game today, I thought. Kennedy had a terrific first half and a very solid game overall, but I thought Miller was really a thorn in the side of St. Joe's most of the time. It's going to be a foul. Could have been a jump ball, but it looks like it's going to be a foul. And it's going to go against, I think, Sebastian Ethert. Yes, it is. That is only his first, but it will stay. But more importantly, it'll send Powell to the free throw line. Corey Powell is a 60% free throw shooter. Today, he's 2 of 2 from the line. So we get an opportunity to increase this lead back to double digits, to a 9-point lead now. And he does with that first make. So now it's 64-54 with 1 more free throw coming. And St. Joe's needs to look at the clock and see that time is starting to become an enemy. It's not quite an enemy yet, but it's getting close as Powell makes the second. Sebastian has it over to his brother Steph, driving with a full head of steam, loses the ball. Should have just took it up himself. He was looking for Mikos on a really tough drive. It was very congested lane. Here comes Miller for Farmingdale. He'll circle it back out with a quick dribble. Powell with another running floater. This time is good. So a timeout will be called. I think a timeout. No, it's not. Not sure what the whistle was for, but the make by Powell will count. That'll extend the lead. I'm not sure what transpired there, but St. Joe's will have the ball. The basket counted, so it's a 13-point lead now for the Rams. 67-54, 4 minutes to go. So St. Joseph's needs to get a few baskets, but certainly get a few stops. Here comes Mikos. Now Sebastian takes the 3. No good, but Reality gets the offensive rebound. So St. Joe's will get another chance, and McQuillan will head to the free throw line. A bad foul by Chaz Platt. No reason to push him off that spot. McQuillan will head to the free throw line. Chad Platt has committed his second foul. And again, St. Joe's in the double bonus. So a 2-shot foul as Hunter Schenkel will enter the game after the first shot. First shot from McQuillan is short. So McQuillan, the one Bear who's been making free throws today, was 4 for 4 before that attempt. Unfortunately, misses the first. And St. Joe's is now 9 of 20 from the free throw line. So 1 of 2 again for St. Joe's, and that's not going to be enough. Going 1 out of 2 from the line is not going to be enough when they're giving up 2 and 2-point field goals mainly. I wouldn't say threes as much, but you'll never catch up trading 1 for 2. Here's Edwards guarding the much quicker Miller. Miller gets into the lane again, and he almost turns it over, but a foul's going to be called. I thought he turned it over. Look like he threw it off the leg of Reality. But it's going to be a foul, and that's going to put Miller to the line. Edwards will be whistled for that foul. That's his first. And that is the 10th on St. Joe. So both teams now in the double bonus the rest of the way. Miller is good on the first free throw. So Farmingdale is definitely taking advantage of their opportunities from the free throw line and increasing their lead on all these possessions. Conversely, St. Joe's is just doing a really poor job when they get these free opportunities, and it's just keeping them from being able to come back. So now it's up to a 14-point lead. Steph finds McQuillan inside. Nice shot fake. Powers it up against two defenders, and he'll head to the free throw line again. And we'll see now if St. Joe's can score twice from the free throw line without the clock moving, and that is a good way to come back. So if they can get to the free throw line, that'll help them come back without having the clock move, but they need to convert these free throws. And McQuillan does make the first of the two here. That foul is the fourth against Trey Riggins. So Riggins and Sine, as well as Todman, all have 4 fouls for Farmingdale. Second free throw is good for McQuillan, so 2 out of 2 for McQuillan. And he is replaced by Chris Edwards, doing a little offense-defense substitution between McQuillan and Edwards. Edwards defending Miller right now, doing a nice job staying in his stance and trying to keep Miller in front of him. Gets a deflection, Edwards gets a deflection. Here's Seb over up to Steph in the full court, and that is a foul by Hunter Schenkel. It did stop the layup. It'll send Steph to the free throw line. So another thing that we see a lot this season is the long pass from Sebastian to Stefan Ethert, who likes to leak out after shots. That time he'll earn himself a trip to the free throw line. Try to cut this lead back to 10. And the first free throw is no good, so Stefan Ethert entering the game at 67% from the free throw line. Riggins and Platt will have a seat. They are replaced by Deshaun Todman and Corey Powell for Farmingdale. They will join Miller, Schenkel, and Frazier. Second free throw is good, so 1 out of 2 again for St. Joe's. And if they're going to go 1 out of 2, they need to get zeros on the other end defensively. And they have really not been able to do that with any kind of consistency today. Powell's three-pointer is good, so this time they trade 1 for 3, and that's a bad situation. 2:44 to go. St. Joe's definitely running out of time here. They need to really turn it on, start getting themselves some looks, and start making free throws and get stops. Three-pointer from Reale is no good, rebounded by Frazier. Farmingdale will slow it up now wisely. Miller will get it over the timeline and then pull it back and try to run some offense. Powell turns it over, though, not able to handle the pass, and he'll commit the foul in the backcourt. It's a bad foul by Powell after the turnover, adding to the mistake. So that'll send Sebastian up to the free throw line, and again, St. Joe's will have a chance to score without having the clock move. So Sebastian will get to the free throw line here for 2. He has yet to attempt a free throw today. And he's perfect on the first one. Second free throw for Sebastian is good. So it's about time the Bears come away with 2 points on an offensive possession. Now they're going to look to turn over Farmingdale again if they can. 12-point game now, and a foul in the backcourt. Kind of a mistaken trip-up foul, as Sebastian was close, and he just kind of tripped over his foot a little bit, did Miller, and Miller will head to the free throw line. That'll be Sebastian's second personal foul. Anthony Miller, 86% free throw shooter heading into this heading into the game. He's been to the line twice today, he made both. This time he misses, though, as Chaz Platt is back in the game for Hunter Schenkel. Dimitri Sarakis, we haven't seen him much this half. He's back in the game replacing Chris Edwards for the offensive possession. So Coach Cocazello was using McQuillan on offense the last few possessions. Now he's going to put Sarakis in and hope Sarakis can get hot from the three-point line, which he certainly can do. Second free throw is good for Miller. 13-point game now in favor of Farmingdale. Here's Sebastian. Now it's Reale looking to penetrate. Loses the ball, but Steph puts it up, and he's fouled. That will send him to the free throw line. It's going to be 2 shots no matter what, because it's a double, because they're in the double bonus. So Steph will get a chance again from the free throw line. So St. Joe's getting plenty of opportunities to score points with the clock being stopped, and they're just not able to really take advantage of it. But this time Steph is able to make the first. That is the 4th foul on Frazier. So 4 players with 4 fouls for Farmingdale. Coven Minor, the only player with 3 for St. Joe's, although they have a lot of guys with 2. Frazier comes out of the game, and the second free throw is missed, but Mikos almost gets the offensive rebound. Reale ends up with it. Now the ball is loose, and it's going to be a kick ball, and it's going to go back to Farmingdale. A strange call as the ball was loose and it was getting sort of knocked around. A kick ball is called, and a timeout will be called now by Coach Cocazello, and he needs some clarification on that call. So he's saying that one of the St. Joseph's players kicked the ball. I didn't see it myself, but it doesn't matter if I see it as long as the ref does. So the ball will go back to Farmingdale, and that's a big possession with just under 2 minutes to go and a 12-point advantage for the Rams. So they just need to get it in and really run some clock. Whether or not they score is really not that important on this possession as long as they run a lot of time off the clock. And St. Joseph's now has to turn up the pressure on defense to try to force some turnovers. And pretty soon they're going to have to start fouling somebody as the time is not on their side. It appears that, yes, and it does look to be a final score now up at Manhattanville. Manhattanville, the Valiants were able to hold on and hold off Mount St. Mary's Knights by a final score of 53-50. So that will drop Mount St. Mary's to 4-8. And Manhattanville will improve to 8-4. So you've got 2 4-7 teams. One of them is St. Joe's of Brooklyn. 2 5-7 teams and 2 4-8 teams, as well as Farmingdale, who's 6-5. Again, pending the outcome of this game. This would be quite a comeback for St. Joe's if they were able to do it. Not out of the realm of possibility, however. Farmingdale inbounds it against the full court press from St. Joe's. Here comes Miller, streaking up the middle of the court, and he's fouled hard and goes hard to the floor. So Sebastian Ethert reaching around the back of Miller, fouls him hard. Miller will head to the free throw line, and he's not the guy you want on the line. Again, as I mentioned earlier, he's an 86% free throw shooter heading into this game. He's 3 of 4 today. So that's the 3rd foul on Sebastian Ethert. Miller's free throw is good. Second one is good. 75-61, 1:51 to go. So St. Joe's needs to score quickly. It doesn't have to be threes yet. Tough shot from Stefan Ethert, falling away. Chaz Platt has it. He'll kick it back out to Kennedy, who was content to bring it out and run some clock. And we have an injury on the floor. It's Sebastian Ethert holding his arm. It might be actually a shoulder injury. He was holding his upper arm earlier. Now he's holding his... No, he's not holding anything, but his arm is hanging, his right arm hanging by his side. It might be a wrist or a hand. He's flexing his hand as he comes off the court. He's going to be replaced by Coven Minor. Matt McQuillan is also in the game, along with Sarakis, Mikos, and Frank Reale. Stefan Ethert will also have a seat. Nice move by Miller. Almost lost it, but picks it back up. And now Farmingdale will kick it back out. 1:27 to go. And a foul way out top. Schenkel will head to the free throw line. Foul will go against Reale. That's his 3rd. Schenkel will head to the free throw line, and on the sideline. Sebastian Ether getting tended to by the trainer. Looks like it's his shoulder area. So he probably got one of those stingers where it's numb down his whole arm. He's still trying to flex and rotate his hand, but he's holding his shoulder. So that was kind of a weird type injury where he probably just ran into somebody. Hopefully he'll be okay. Schenkel's first free throw was good. Second one also good. So St. Joe's putting Farmingdale to the line, but Farmingdale is taking advantage of the opportunities and just putting 2 on the board every possession now. They're 13 of 19 now from the line. And a 3 is good. Nikos makes the 3, and a timeout is called. So they needed that a little bit earlier, but still doesn't mean they're dead here. So I mentioned that Farmingdale is 13 of 19 from the free throw line. Not great, but just under 70%. St. Joe's of Brooklyn has taken 30 free throws today, so they've been to the line a ton. They've only made 16, 53.3%. So there's your game right there, folks. Leading scorers, 4 players in double figures for Farmingdale. They're led by Hunter Schenkel's 14 points now after those 2 free throws. Ryan Kennedy has 13. Corey Powell also has 13, a quiet 13 for Corey Powell. And Miller, Anthony Miller Jr., the senior point guard, has 12. Jermaine Frazier also has 9, so he's knocking on the door as well. St. Joe's also has 4 players in double figures. Chris Mikos leads the scorers with 17. Frank Reale and Stefan Ethert each have 11, and Sebastian Ethert has 10 points and 9 assists, so he's close to a double-double himself. Farmingdale will inbound the ball under the St. Joe's basket. Full court pressure by St. Joe's. Platt on the inbound, having trouble finding someone, and the whistle is a timeout. So Coach Toomey had to call a timeout to avoid the 5-second violation. So good job defensively by St. Joe's, and that's what you want. The first thing you want in that situation is a 5-second call, because then you get the ball back under your own basket with the clock not having moved. The second thing you would want is a steal on the inbound, so you get the ball. And the third thing would be if it was inbounded, you kind of have to foul. Now, some coaches will make that first trap on the inbound to try to create the turnover, even though it will take a few seconds. Sometimes they foul right away. Sometimes they'll do that depending on the situation. Right now, trailing by 13 with 1:14 to go, I think I would foul right away if I was St. Joseph's, because there's a little too much of a deficit. Too many possessions are needed, and they just have to hope Farmingdale misses free throws. Now, Farmingdale has shown that they really haven't done that. They're actually 14 of 20 from the free throw line right now for an even 70%. Here's a good trap in the corner. And another timeout has to be called by Farmingdale. So Coach Cocazello elects to go for that first trap, and luckily the ball was inbounded in the deep corner, which is great for the defense. Tough place to have it. So a good job by St. Joe's and Coach Cocazello slapping on that hard trap. Didn't get a turnover, but it stops the clock. And another timeout has to be used by Coach Toomey and the Farmingdale Rams. So they'll inbound it again, and a little bit of a difficult spot. They're going to inbound it on the sideline, probably somewhere between the free throw line and the baseline, so a difficult place to inbound the ball. And you don't often practice inbounding the ball from strange areas of the court like that. So St. Joe's with another defensive opportunity here. Again, hoping for a 5-second call or a steal. And if they get an inbounds, maybe they'll try to set a trap again. They might as well. If they did it on the last possession, they might as well do it again. So again, Farmingdale is 14 of 20 from the free throw line for 70%. St. Joe's 16 of 30 for 53%. So again, leaving too many points on the board kind of puts St. Joe's in this hole, 13-point deficit, only 1:10 to go. St. Joe's is out on the floor. Here comes Farmingdale now. So they'll take it actually on the baseline, but pretty far to the deep corner is where they're going to give it to them. So it's still a difficult spot to inbound it. They get it to Schenkel, and he second pass out to his streaking Kennedy. Farmingdale has broken pressure. They circle it back out top to run clock. Here's a double team. St. Joe's chasing now. And Farmingdale still holding it out. Now a foul has to be committed by Miko. So they tried to get the steal and tried to chase it around even in the front court. But Farmingdale taking care of the basketball, playing keep away. As Miko's having to commit his third foul. Schenkel will head to the line. So Schenkel and Miller, as well as Kennedy, really some really good free throw shooters. They're going to be on the floor here the rest of the way. Schenkel makes the first. Schenkel makes a second. Powell is in the game for the defensive possession, replacing Hunter Schenkel. 15-point game now, biggest lead of the game for Farmingdale after all those free throws building up here late in the game. Sarakis kicks it over, but it's stolen by Kennedy. He's going to pull it, and he's going to get fouled as he tried to streak out ahead. So Kennedy will head to the free throw line. So Sarakis tried to make a long skip pass across the court. Kennedy saw it and was able to leap up and grab it with one hand. That foul went against Matt McQuillan. McQuillan gave St. Joe some good minutes. He's been very quiet really this whole season. Hasn't had a great senior season, and his minutes have dwindled, but he really did a good job today. Did a lot of very nice things for the senior, so good to see him getting going for the home stretch here. Last 5 games coming up, last 4 games after this one. 81-64. Here comes McQuillan now. Gets himself all the way to the basket, makes a little hook shot over Kennedy, and the tip-up is no good. And Farmingdale has it, and they will nearly dribble out the clock. St. Joe's is going to be content to let them dribble it out. A 6-second differential on the shot clock, however, so Farmingdale will either take the violation or they will have to shoot. And this is going to be a difficult loss for St. Joe's, as Farmingdale got about a 10 or 11 point lead early in the game, and it really just hung around that amount all the way till, and Farmingdale will take the 30-second violation. St. Joe's will have it 4.6 seconds to go, and this will do it. And again, so now the spread is 17, but really the game was between 8 and 11 or 12, really the entire game. And St. Joe's just really shot themselves in the foot from the free throw line, as they will drop now to 8 and 13. That will drop them to 4 and 8 in the conference. Farmingdale will improve to 7 and 5 in the conference, 11 and 10 overall, so they get back to over 500 in this one. So a tough loss for St. Joe's. They're still in the mix for the playoffs, but not making it any easier for themselves, losing at home here to a very strong, a very active Farmingdale State Rams squad. So the final score is Farmingdale State 81, St. Joseph's 64. 4 players in double figures for both teams. For Farmingdale, they were led by the 16 points from Hunter Schenkel, 15 points from Ryan Kennedy, who did finally get that 10th rebound, so he goes home with a double-double, 15 and 10 for Ryan Kennedy. Corey Powell had 13. Anthony Miller Jr. had 12 points. Those are the 4 in double figures for Farmingdale. Jermaine Frazier had 9 points for the visiting Rams. Deshaun Todman had 6. Chaz Platt had 2. And both Trey Riggins and Dominique Sine had 4 each for Farmingdale. 28 of 62 from the floor for a very strong 45.2%. From three-point range, they were 31.8%, 7 of 22. And from the free throw line, they made 18 of 24, and many of them were down the stretch to seal this victory for the Rams. That was an even 75% from the free throw line. For St. Joseph's, their 64 points were totaled, again, with 4 players in double figures. They were led by Chris Mikos with 17 points and 7 rebounds. Stefan Ethert had 11 points. Frank Reale also had 11 points. He was only 4 of 14 from the floor, though, and 3 of 10 from behind the three-point arc. Sebastian Ethert was 3 of 10 from the floor. He had 10 points and 9 assists, so a near double-double for Sebastian. Matt McQuillan came off the bench with a very strong game. He had 9 points. He was 7 of 8 from the free throw line, so really the only Bear that was very strong from the free throw line today. Chris Edwards had 4 points on 2 of 8 shooting. Overall, St. Joe's was 21 of 62 for a hair under 34%. From three-point land, they were a hair over 26% at 6 of 23. And the name of the game today was the free throw shooting. So from the free throw line, St. Joe's ended up a paltry 16 of 30 for 53.3%. So poor free throw shooting and the inability to get consistent stops on defense did the Bears in today. So we'll run through the updated stats from the Skyline. St. Joe's drops again to 4-8. They will join the Merchant Marine Academy and Mount St. Mary's at 4-8. Mount St. Vincent was off tonight, so they're a half game ahead at 4-7. Maritime is 5-7. Sarah Lawrence is also 5-7. And Farmingdale State improves to 7-5. So they have a little bit of a lead over all those other teams fighting for that last playoff spot. Our next game for St. Joe's will be on the road on Tuesday night at Yeshiva, an 8 o'clock tip. And our next broadcast here at the Hill Center will be next Saturday for the big rivalry game against St. Joe's of Long Island. The women tip off at 1, the men at 3 here at the Hill Center. So make sure you're logging into sjcbears.com on Saturday the 15th. So I am Michael Kerr, and I'll be saying goodbye to you again, and we will see you again next Saturday right here on sjcbears.com. Good night, everybody.